for more on the Super Bowl stock predictor, we're joined by David Bartosiak out of Chicago. David is a Momentum Equity Strategist for Zacks.com. David, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Well, listen, in 40 of the 49 Super Bowls, the Super Bowl predictor correctly guessed the direction of the U.S. stock market 40 times. So I'll break it down for you. That is 82% of the time. That sounds like a pretty good prediction rate. What do you think? How does it compare with other market predictors?
It's pretty good. I mean, I wish I could be right 80% of the time. So it's right up there with a lot of the predictions that we have. I don't know if you ever heard the sell in May and go away, where we're supposed to sell everything in May and go hide until the summertime's over and then buy equities after that. And then there's the as goes January, so goes the rest of the year. So it's right up there with the best of them, actually.
But how do you explain this phenomenon? I mean, what's the connection with football and the stock market? Is there anything?
Well, I wish I could say that there was, but really I think it's just a function of mathematics. You have two data sets, right? So you have the stock market each of those years, which basically, it goes up 78% of the time over this period. And then you have the actual NFC or original NFL teams, and they've won 71% of the Super Bowls. So when you get that together, you're going to have a lot of correlation. But like they taught us in stats class, correlation does not equal causation.
All right. Well, the inventor of the Super Bowl predictor admits that it has no scientific basis, yet academics have reportedly studied it. Now, how many investors do you think actually pay attention to it?
I don't know how many people actually go out there and make purchasing decisions based on this. Unless you roll the dice and your Super Bowl team wins and you got a little extra money from gambling and you want to go ahead and see if it works again. But I don't know a lot of people that actually center their investment philosophy around this one.
Okay, you don't know around this one, but what kind of investor does make decisions based on, shall we call them, unorthodox stock predictors like this one?
Sure. I mean, there's all sorts of investors that try different things. I talked to somebody who uses star charts, and based on where the Earth is in position at different stars, they make purchases, and they swear that it's right. So it's just, everybody's got their own thing. And if anybody actually had sat down and listened to this, they'd be doing pretty good.
You're right. It's about 80% accurate, so not a bad bet. Now, if you are someone who does want to make a bet based on the Super Bowl predictor, how would you do it? I mean, when you find out who wins, would you just go long or short on the S&P 500? Is that the best way to play on that predictor?
Sure, you could just go ahead and use, buy an ETF, the SPY, if Carolina goes ahead and wins, which will pay off great for you because we're already down 8% on the S&P 500 this year. So if it turns around and gets into positive territory, it's going to be great. When those NFL or NFC teams have won, it's over 15% return on the market, where on the flip side, they're basically break even. So it's a good way to just go ahead and jump in on SPY, really.
Okay. Well, the odds in Las Vegas are on the Carolina Panthers winning this Sunday. Of course, that bodes well for the market because they are a bullish team by the Super Bowl predictors criteria. But the S&P 500 was down 5% in January. And as you mentioned, there's that old adage that says, as January goes, so goes the rest of the year. Now, given these two opposing predictors, where do you think the market is headed this year, up or down? Because according to the futures market in Vegas, it would indicate up, but if we take the look at that January, it would say down. So looking at the market right now, what's your thought?
Well, this is going to be the battle of the two indicators, right? Is the Super Bowl indicator going to win, or is the January indicator going to win? I'm hoping that Carolina wins it because deep down, I got a secret. I am a Chicago Bears fan, and the head coach of the Carolina Panthers played on the 1986 Bears that won the Super Bowl. And he was the defensive coordinator when the Bears went to the Super Bowl and lost a few years ago. So everybody needs to root for the Carolina Panthers and hope that this market turns around because, again, we're down 8%. It's looking kind of rocky, though. So if I had to bet based on how the market looks, what will happen in the Super Bowl, I think I'd be betting on Denver.
You'd be betting on Denver, but hoping for the Carolina Panthers. But I will say this. I've heard when there is an election, the market tends to go up that year. So we might have 2 against 1 in terms of odds for the market going up, right?
I'll take those odds any day.
All right. Thank you so much. That was David Bartosiak, Momentum Equity Strategist for Zacks.com.